Just bounce to this.
Hey, how's it going everyone? My name is Brandon Clements and welcome back to another tutorial here on Glass Hand. So we're going to do things a little bit differently today. I do not have my face cam up because honestly my office is in a mess. We've been doing a lot of stuff here in 2017, as you could probably tell from the infrequent uploads from our channel, but we're getting everything kind of moved around, so I do not have everything set up. We're actually getting ready to go out to SIGGRAPH 2017, so before we did, I wanted to go ahead and put up another video that's kind of quick, that talks about a little bit of modeling and a little bit of triplanar projection inside of Octane. So I have gotten a lot of requests from triplanar projections and also from a little bit of modeling tips and tricks from you guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and create this guy right here. So we're just going to create this from a simple plane here in Cinema, and what we're going to actually do is at the end I'm going to show you how to set up this triplanar projection mapping that's actually working here inside of Octane. It's really cool. So just to kind of switch this over to path tracing, there you can see it's a little bit better. Triplanar projection basically is like a cubic projection, but what it does is it blends the edges together, so it's not quite as noticeable as something like a cubic projection. So this is going to help you a lot on different types of models that you have in your scene. If you don't have time to actually unwrap them, then this is a great solution for you. But if you don't know anything about UV unwrapping, we have a tutorial here on the channel to help you with that. So I'm going to stop talking and let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go to a new scene file, and what I'm going to do is just drop down a simple plane into the scene here, and basically we're just going to leave it the same as it is right now. We're 20 and 20. We'll have plenty of area to work with to create the kind of rounded edges and everything that we need. Okay, so I went ahead and hit C, collapse it into a editable object, and I'm just going to select, let's see, let's just do 5 points down the sides and across here. So 5, okay, there we go, awesome. So we got a little square section here in the corner. So what I'm going to do is there's a script here that's called points to circle, and when I run that script, we're actually going to create this awesome cylindrical circular kind of pattern. And this is from 3D Kiwi here. I believe his name is Nigel, that I had found on C4D Cafe, and I think they're redoing their site here. But all you need to do is sign up to C4D Cafe, download the file, and what you can do from there is just go to edit, and then you go to your preferences and go to libraries and then scripts. So once you download that, put it into your scripts folder. And real quickly, I just refreshed my startup, so it's exactly like yours. And let's go to user and then script, user scripts, and you can find it here. But the thing is, if you wanted to tear this off, you can't get access to it. So what we're going to do is just go to customization. We're going to customize palettes here. And what we can do is just search for points to circle, and we're just going to click and we're going to drag and we're going to drop that up here. Another thing that we're going to look for a lot here that's an amazing modeling tool is let's look for slide. We're going to use this a lot. Let's also look for let's see, cut. So we're going to do loop path cut, which is perfect for us. And then one more that we're going to do is we're going to search for pin and the polygon pin right here, which is great. Okay, so we can leave that there, and we have a nice little palette, and what we can do is go to window, and we're going to basically save layout as, and let's just I have a few here that I use. We can just call this one modeling, and then I think there's one already called modeling, so I'm just going to say GHS for Glass Hand Studios and go ahead and hit OK. And there we go. So every time we want to switch to this layout and we have those tools that we want to use all the time, they'll come up there. We could do these like different quadrants and everything, but let's work a little bit smarter. Instead, what we're going to do is just delete half of this guy, and we're going to hold Alt on our keyboard, and we're going to come up here and we're going to do symmetry, and we can actually do another symmetry if we just delete this and grab the symmetry object again, and then this guy is going to be mirrored into the XY. Okay, so this is pretty cool because we have two generators running and we can quickly iterate on our shape. Okay, so I just went ahead and I'm selecting this guy and I went into points mode, and you can see I still have some like residual stuff that's just laying there. So what we can do is just right click with nothing selected in the viewport and hit optimize, and that cleans this up really nicely. If you want to go ahead and adjust your settings, you can crank the tolerance down. So this is going to be very safe having it 0.001, because if the vertices are right on top of each other, that's the only thing that will delete. So if you're working in a different scale than just a normal plane that I had dropped down, you're going to want to adjust this. And I go ahead and hit OK, and it's going to save it for us. Okay, so here is a great little tip for you guys, because you're going to run into this a lot when you're modeling. So we have this nice like circular pattern, but the thing is our vertices here do not line up with this guy here. And you know, you can turn on snapping and try to get that right, or you could, you know, like line it up with the grid and try to get it, you know, as close as you can. But I'm going to show you how to get it exact. So what you can do is enable your axis here with the selection. So I'm going to drag it down, and I'm going to kind of line it up with this guy, because this is where I want it to be flush. So I'm going to get close, and then I'm going to turn my axis off, come down here and go ahead and enable my snap, and I'm going to turn on Vertex Snap, and then boom, we snap it there, and we can check our work by selecting all those verts. And in the X, we have a size of 0. Okay, so if this was like, let's just try to make it like barely off, just for example's sake here. So if I made it barely off and we select all those, we still have a difference here in the size. So let's just backpedal, and again, just for safety, we'll go ahead and make sure that's at 0. So that's completely straight, very computer graphics straight. So let's go ahead. We're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to take that axis tool and then put it on our snaps, and then bam, we snapped it there. Let's check our work. And again, in the Z, we have nothing. So that is perfect. Let's take off our snaps. We'll be able to just keep rocking and rolling from here on out. Let's just take our live selection, and then let's just go up 3. And again, we can run this script. We're going to shrink it down. Let's make this one like, let's not go all the way down, because as you notice, we're going to start stretching out our topology here. Our topology is basically our understanding of how these edges and vertices are flowing. And I'd rather not have, you know, these areas here kind of blank. So I'll basically kind of shrink this down, and then I can go into my polygon selection mode, select those guys. I'm going to hit MW to do extrude inner. Okay, so I can basically extrude inner, and then let's do that like maybe one more time. And then MT on the keyboard, T is in turtle, and then we'll just bring that down. So we got a little bit of indentation, and then we can bring it down even more, and just kind of round that off. Okay. So the one thing that I did here that I just came down and I did an extrude inner. Let's talk about like how these lines are flowing together. Now this here is going to crease as soon as we drop this into a subdivision surface. Okay, so the edges that are closest together are going to give you creases like that. So if I hit Q on my keyboard, we can actually turn off the subdivision surface. The closer that these creases are together, the closer or the harder this crease is going to be. So if I hit UL and then I go into my edge mode, I can use my slide tool to basically get this closer, and we can do a fixed distance from here to the next edge, or we can do proportional. And this is great because then you can kind of say, you know, you can kind of get accurate if you really want to. So like 85, and then I can like double click this edge and then basically try to get this on the other side and line that up as close as we want to. So let's say like -85 or something. So yeah, that gets us pretty close to the same percentage of the edge distance away. So that's really, really cool. We can also turn on preserve curvature if we need to, if this is a more organic object. Okay, that's going to help you a lot. So if we go ahead and just preview this by hitting Q on the keyboard, and then let's change to smooth Gerard kind of shading by hitting NA, just standard Gerard shading. MB is going to be, you know, the lines with Gerard shading. So you can see how tight that this edge really is. We're so close there. That's kind of like the holy grail of having really creased edges, is basically having 3 edges together. So 1, 2, and 3, and that's going to crease that really, really hard for you. Now, if we examine this one down here, you can see that it's a little more beveled just because we don't have a lot of topology down there. So one of the other things we can do, I'm just going to hit Q to get out of this mode. And then I'm going to go into edge mode, basically. What we can do is come up here to our loop path cut that we have put up here in our shelf. Now, the weird thing about the loop path cut is if you hit M to go to your modeling tools, unless I'm blind, I do not see that here in our list. And this is just like the coolest tool ever. It's actually hidden under Mesh, Create Tools, and then Loop Path Cut. And I have no idea why there is not a signature hotkey for this, because if you haven't used this before, let me just demonstrate. You can click, and then you can start adding edge loops here. And then this button here will keep it proportional. And then you can actually pick where you want this percentage of the sliding to happen. So this is something that was awesome for me in Moto. I loved this tool in Moto, and I just wished that Maxon would come up with a idea to get something similar. And I have to say that this is awesome, if not better than the one that's in Moto. I mean, Moto is a great application, but anyways, we can get into more of that talking later. Let's go ahead and just set this to 10%. That's something that I like to default to, and we can do all kinds of stuff in here. You can see we have preserve curvature, and then we have like these different shaping options that we can enable down here. So play around with this tool. I think it's really going to become your #1 favorite tool in Cinema 4D for modeling. Okay, so we basically have demonstrated how we can get this guy looking good, and you know, it looks like we got some weirdness happening here, so no problem. We can basically just take these. It looks like this is just a weird kind of edge that was left over, so let's just go ahead and select it, and we'll hit dissolve is not working for us, so I think this was just something that was left behind. Okay, so I'm just basically selecting these points and then hitting the delete key. Sometimes there's these things that sneak up on me and I don't see them, so let's just get this out of here. Okay, all right, we're all clean now. So let's go ahead and just run another optimize command, and you can see these are not going to overlap with that really low tolerance. Okay, so let's just continue doing some really fun stuff. Let's select these guys here. Let's do extrude inner. Oops, MW. There we go. Okay. Another thing with extrude inner that kind of sucks is that you'll notice I can't go far. It's not going to affect the polygon, or I should say the edges that are being created and shrunken in. Okay, so see how that doesn't work? What you can do is just basically start this command, and then you can hit R for scaling, and then scale that down, and that will help you a lot better. And then of course you can just hit UB for ring selection, and we can grab that ring, and then we can right click, and we can do let's see, I'm looking for connect points and edges, and that will add in some more topology, or some more one more edge to retain this shape for you a little bit better. Okay, so let's do something different maybe right here. Let's not be so predictable, and let's just scale MW to extrude this inner, MT to extrude this down, and then we'll extrude it down, and then down one more time, and then MW to extrude inner. And let's check our work and just see what this looks like. Pretty cool, looking awesome. And what we can also do is just kind of grab the outside of this shape. So I'm just double clicking on this to grab an edge loop, and I'm gonna hit MT to extrude this down, and it looks like we are not extruding down. So what can we do? We just come over to this edge angle, and we'll just type in -90. We can pull this down. Notice this is the principle I was talking about when we do not have edges that are going to retain this sharpness for us. So again, if we smooth, maybe this is something you want. Maybe you want really something doughy and soft on the edges. But if we just pull this down, we can start to edit this shape with the tools that I have already shown you. So we can go into the loop cut path, and let's just click once, and let's up the number of cuts. Okay, let's just try to make this as even as possible. Awesome. And then you can hit escape on the keyboard to get out of that. And then we can hit left click again. And let's set this to 90. Okay, so let's try to retain the same sharpness around here as we possibly can. So like 10% away from that edge. And that's going to help you a lot in keeping consistency. And again, we can click again in here and we can type 50 and we know we're halfway right there. Why not add another one in here, 50. Okay, awesome. This is looking great. So what I want to do is when we go ahead and smooth this, you can see that this crease looks great, but then as we come here, we're kind of like, you know, losing this nice crease on the edge. So I'm going to show you just a little quick editing tip, how we can help this out with the Polygon Pin Tool. So first of all, let's go ahead and we'll add this guy here and we're going to put it to 90 so that, again, we're 10% away from that next edge. We'll come over here and we're going to say, let's get 10% away from that next edge. And this is all great, but look at all these lines that are coming together, and this has completely killed our shape. This is looking awful, and this is going to be so noticeable in the render. So what do we do now? Well, it's actually very easy. What we're going to do is just select this edge right here, and we're going to say see you later by hitting dissolve, and we're going to come over here and do the same thing, get this guy out of here. And if I double click, we'll select all of that. If I double click, we'll select that edge. Again, that is causing us the biggest headache in the world, and we're going to say see you later to those guys. We're going to dissolve those away. Now, on the keyboard, you can hit ME to get to your pen tool, or you can just select this awesome icon. And again, just to kind of help you a little bit more, you can turn on snaps and just get it to Vertex Snap, and there we go. You know, we're definitely clicking on those vertices. Cinema 4D knows that we want to click on those verts, and what's going to help us out and kind of glue those together. Okay, so let's check our work and hit Q again. And I'm going to go back to object mode or model mode. Model mode. In Cinema 4D, and look at how this edge is being retained. It looks a lot better than it did before. Okay, so at this point, let's say in our project, this is exactly what we need for our platform. And you know, you always kind of want to be able to plan out. Obviously, you'll have like reference or something like that. What we can do from here on out is let's just put this into a group, and we'll call this history. _GRP. I like having these naming conventions. We can hold control and copy this. Let's get rid of this guy, just hide him. And then we can middle click here. That's going to select everything in our hierarchy. And if we want to, we can turn on the subdivision surface and get a lot more edges in here. So this is a preview by hitting NB of what that subdivision surface is going to look like. And sometimes you do need to do localized subdivisions and kind of crunch all that stuff down into something that's more manageable. But in this case, I'm just going to turn this off and we'll stay at the same resolution, and we're going to say connect to objects and delete. Okay, so now we have this guy, and we're just going to call this I don't know, we'll just call it plain. I can't think of anything clever. So let's go ahead and hit 1 on the keyboard, and we're going to say optimize. And that's going to make sure that everything is welded together and this is one big piece, and we are very happy. So let's go into our top view, and what we can do is just kind of create a rectangle selection of these vertices here. And let's do the ring, and we'll come in, do the live selection, MW, there we go. And then MT to extrude, and then let's get a little bit closer. Extrude again, MW, bring it in. All right, so let's talk about triplanar projection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to include these guys here for you in the tutorial file download. So I'm just going to copy over my shader, and I'm just going to do this so you guys, I wanted this to be as quick as possible, this tutorial. So I'm just copy and paste in some of these that I've already prepared inside of here. And if we look through our camera, let's go ahead and open Octane and let's fire this up. Okay, so you can see that our model looks really cool. And what I'm going to do is just drag this onto the plane here. And I'm going to make sure that this is set to edge, just so we don't get any distortion. But actually, it's not affecting it, because the cool thing is this is all running in the background. Everything that we have set up here for triplanar projection is running from the Octane standalone, and it's not being affected by the Cinema 4D stuff. So what I mean by that is no matter what we do with the modifier or the UVW mapping projection here, if I change this, let me get this out of the way so you can see this very clearly, and I'll even add a Octane object tag here. If I change this to cubic, it's not going to change at all, because we're basically bypassing the Cinema 4D stuff and in favor of the Octane projection tools here. So I'm just going to show you really quickly how this is set up. I don't think you guys really want to watch me set this all up and like drag these wires around, so I'll explain it here. You just need to get all of your image textures loaded in here. Of course, you can just drag and drop them from the list. And then you're going to need these triplanar shaders, okay? And this is just asking, there are 6 inputs here. So if you think of how cubic projection works, there's basically 6 angles that are being fired into the scene that is creating that cubic projection. So this node here is going to be able to create those 6 different viewpoints, and it's going to blend them together, and then you're going to put them into their respective channels. So you don't have to blend every single channel together, and this will be negated in whatever channel that you don't want. What I'm doing here is just using a clamp texture to basically bring up the dark values to around 0.75 brightness. Okay, so you can see I use this from time to time just to tweak the look of the shader. And then we have the bump map going in down here with the normal map. This normal map is not very bumpy, so I went ahead and just recycled the base color and then clamped it and put it into the bump to get a little bit more scratch detail. Now, the cool thing is, and this is great, I've been working in Unity and Unreal a lot for a lot of different client projects this year. And this is one thing that I love about some of the game engine features, is that you can basically drive all of your maps by like one transform or one projection and going into all of them. So you need to make sure that you have a texture projection that you drag out from right here, this projection guy, and then set it to triplanar. Now you're going to have, I believe, 3.06 and above to have this. Don't hold me to that, but just get the latest version right now. Currently at the recording, it's 3.06.2 is what I'm using. So drag that triplanar projection out, and then make sure you change it to triplanar. And then the cool thing is now you want to lock this aspect ratio. What I'm going to do is just drag this off screen so I can show you. You can see that it's basically too small and it's repeating too much. So by dragging this aspect ratio here, we can make it smaller or bigger. Definitely add the Octane object tag so you get this nice feedback in your live viewer. Okay, so look how cool this blends together. Now, if you were to look at this very hard and for a long period of time, you're going to see that these don't actually blend up over onto the other part. But this is more of a mechanical like object. Now, something that is more spherical, just drop in a sphere here. And then we'll take our stuff and put it on there. You can see that this is going to look a lot better by how it blends. And you're not going to see the seams as much because it's blending all this together. Try doing this with a cubic projection on a sphere, and you'll see exactly how cool this really is. Okay, so let's just get that guy out of there. That's basically it. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. Before you go, there are a few things that I would love to show you that I've been working on, just so you guys kind of know what I've been doing in 2017. All right, so for the first thing that I've been doing in 2017, I got together with one of my great friends that I went to college with, Ben James. He's such an awesome indie developer. He's doing this on his own. Both him and I did some of the art assets, and he did a lot of the logic and taught me a lot about how games are put together and how game logic works. And this is his game. It is called Zombie Party, and this game is absolutely phenomenal. It is a indie retro title. It's like a twin stick shooter. So it's kind of set up like a retro game, but just on steroids. As you can see, there's so many colors. There's all these things happening in the game. This game has more loot than I have ever played an indie game, and the characters are just funky and wild, and trust me, you guys will have a great time playing this. This is going to be ported soon onto the Xbox Live Arcade, so check that out on Xbox One, and definitely look for it on Steam. So we decided to put out a VR title that's called Housekeeping, and it's basically, you know, turning housekeeping on its head, because you're not really doing anything like housekeeping at all. You're basically going into apartments and you're destroying stuff with weapons. So this was created in the Unreal Engine, and I believe this was like in version let's see, 4.14, I think is what we used to create some of this stuff. And there's been some awesome improvements for VR and volumetric lighting and just some really cool stuff that we're going to probably implement here soon. So there's like 2 levels right now. So this is kind of like a high-rise apartment. And then this other one is just this kind of other testing that we were throwing objects into. So definitely check this out. If you guys have HTC Vive or Oculus Touch, it will work with both, and definitely give yourself some room for room scale VR, because it's a lot of fun just to kind of come around in these environments and just interact with them. And this was a project to kind of, for me, to teach myself how to use these game engines to get familiar with how real-time technology is working and how it's improving right now, and it's pretty exciting. So we're now on Patreon. If you guys want to join us as a $1 or $5 monthly supporter, basically what this gives you is access to all of our scene files from all of our YouTube posts. I will be sharing exclusive scene files with the $5 or more. That's going to have like different textures, R&D tests that I just put up. I do a lot of stuff in my free time. So if you would like to learn with me and also have a live monthly Q&A session that we're going to be setting up very soon, exclusive tutorials, and we're also going to be able to communicate with you and help you on your projects a little bit more. So there's going to be a lot more information later about Patreon, but right now it's just basically getting started, and we only have a few supporters going on right now. So if you want to join on our Patreon, just definitely go to patreon.com/glasshand, and we'll see you over there. And lastly, but not least, we are going to have a Cineversity tutorial up. So if you are a Cineversity subscriber, we're going to have a series based around Octane and interior architectural visualization and lighting. So I wanted to create a course for complete beginners, intermediate, and advanced users of Octane and Cinema 4D, and try to show you in a project-based manner how we actually complete projects here at Glasshand and some of the different tools that we use. So definitely keep an eye out for that. If you follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, I'll be posting about it as soon as it goes up. It should be up before SIGGRAPH. But if you're not subscribed to Cineversity, I don't know what you're waiting for, because there is some amazing content on here. If you go to the tutorial section and browse, there is just loads and loads of awesome tutorials from these incredible instructors, and it's going to be an honor to be placed next to all of these guys, who are, a lot of them, really close friends of mine. All right, so that will do it for this video. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section below, and give this video a like. It helps us figure out what you guys are liking and what you don't like. And if you are at SIGGRAPH 2017, we'll see you there. Thanks so much, guys. See you in the next one.